Okay. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for the seminar on participative action research. It is being organized by Global Innovation Network for Teaching and Learning, a network in which Finnish higher education institutions, together with partners from India, China, and Africa, bring together researchers and practitioners to address global educational challenges and collaborate in research and education. In today's seminar, we have with us two experts of participative action research, Dr. Kati Keski-Penappa and Dr. Fekete Tuli from Finland and Ethiopia. They will be leading the seminar, which includes first an introduction to the principles of action research, and then a hands-on activity. My name is Deepti Bora, and I am working as a project coordinator with GINTL and will be your host today for this seminar. Now, without any further delay, I would now like to invite Dr. Kati first to begin the seminar.
Hey, hello. I have some problems with my screen. Wait a minute. I will try to make it bigger.
Your video is, yes, we can see you now. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Deepti. And I think we are ready to share about action research. Shall I share my screen, Deepti, or?
Yes, you may share your screen. I can stop sharing mine.
Yes. So, my name is Kati Keskimäenpää. I come from Finland, and I work in Jyväskylä University as a university teacher, and I train new teachers. So my presentation will concentrate mostly in education and school context. And you will see my context here. Today in Finland, it is very snowy, not so cold, but we have a lot of snow. And this picture is taken from the kindergarten backyard this morning. And also I went to ski this morning. It's lovely sunshine, and we have a lot of snow, as you see. But today we are talking about action research. We don't have so much time to go very deeply into the topic, but we will have a scratch of action research, and I will share you more to read later. So if you are interested in reading more about action research and use it maybe in your own research, I will share you a lot of videos and texts to read more about it. But action research is qualitative research tool. You can use quantitative data collection method, but action research is always qualitative. And the action research, it tells you that it's about action and research. So it's a research method that at the same time, it aims to investigate, to collect data, and solve some practical challenges or issues. And very often, action research is used in social sciences. And it's very well known among teachers, educational workers, and so on, because it's so practical and you can do it easily in your own school context, for example, or universities. And here you see already the spiral of action research. I will tell you a little bit more about these stages, but many of you recognize this spiral model. And very often, participatory action research is done in the contexts where the participants work or live, like communities, villages, schools, universities, and so on. Sometimes the researcher is part of the context. He can be a teacher from the same school, or sometimes he or she comes from outside, like from university, to do research with teachers, for example. I did my PhD work in Ethiopia, and I came from outside. And I will tell you a little bit more about it later, but there are two ways. And action research, it's always collaborative. It's always done together equally. The researcher is not the one who decides the topic, decides what is going to be done, but the topic and actions are chosen together. For example, at school, you can plan the actions together with colleagues, or with your pupils, or your students. And action research, it's democratic. It means that everybody who participates the action research are on the same line. There is not a leader, but everybody has the same voice and the same chance to tell their opinions. And action research, it's very practical based, and it aims to improve real situations, not theoretical ones, but very practical challenges. For example, I used to work as a primary school teacher, and we had some challenges in our school context. For example, we wanted to improve the recycling at our school. Or some teachers, they would love to improve their pupils' learning achievements. Somebody would like to develop active-based learning and participation of students. This is very common in Finland. Teachers would like to improve collaboration between teachers and parents. We want to prevent bullying. We want to make a cozier schoolyard. Or, like in Finland, we had our current curriculum in 2016, and it was very new for all the teachers, and we wanted to know more our new curriculum. This funny picture drawn by me, I'm not an artist, but I wanted to make a picture. This is made for my own students. The role of the researcher in action research, it's a little bit different in traditional research than in action research. In traditional research, we are observing as outsiders. We are stepping a little bit back, and we are observing what is happening there in a classroom, for example. But in action research, the researcher, this fish, pink fish here, is swimming among the participants. He's not outsider. He is one of the community. Even if he or she is coming from university or some other organization, he or she will be part of the community somehow. And here you will see differences between action research and so-called traditional research. I will share you these slides later and extra material as well, so you don't have to write down everything. But this is the biggest difference between action research. It's practical, and traditional research, it's more theoretical. Of course, we have here ethnographic research and other research where researcher is part of the group and is really there. But action research aims to solve real problems. And traditional research, it's more about collecting the data. And action research happens in real context always. And traditional research may happen in real context, but it can be also derived from theory. There are many kinds of action research cycles. This is one of them. We start from planning. So we have a challenge, practical challenge we want to improve. So you identify a problem with participants. And then you plan how you can make an improvement. And you will plan it together equally and democratically. And then you act according to your plan. And then you observe, maybe after a week, after a month, after half a year, what kind of change happened, or is there any change? Maybe not. And then you have to reflect. Why didn't we have any change? What kind of change would we like to have? What kind of new plan should we make to have some change here? So it's a cycle, and it can be repeated as many times as you want to. When I did my PhD, we had 5 cycles, and the whole action research took more than 4 years. So it was a very long project. But sometimes action research cycles can take shorter time. The whole action research could take 1 year, for example, or half a year. Okay, this is an example. We want to improve the recycling in the classroom. What could we do to make recycling in our classroom more effective? Okay, I talk with my students and they give ideas. Okay, we should have more recycling bins. We don't have any, so we have to put all the trash into the same bin. Let's have more recycling bins. And after 1 month, we observe together. We take photos, for example, we have questionnaires or whatever. Did any change happen? In action research, you have to collect the data somehow. It can be an interview, it could be field notes, group discussions, questionnaire. It can be quantitative or qualitative. Many times there are both. And if there is not any change, we have to make a new plan. Okay, I discuss with my students and they suggest, let's choose 2 students to be representatives of recycling in our classroom. And they try to remind other students that they have to recycle more. And then we observe again, we make new plan again. And at the end, we reflect the whole process. What did we learn during the process? How did we work together? Was it equal? How did the recycling improve our classroom? And then we will have report. In PhD studies, it's a thesis. But in classroom level, it could be a video, podcast, photos, poster on the wall, report, whatever. But it's very important part to report the outcomes and show to others that, hey, we had this kind of improvements through our own actions. For example, low participation among teacher students in university level has been studied in Japan. The challenge was that teacher students are not taking part actively in discussions. They are very passive. They don't ask questions or they don't give comments. They are just very passive. So, colleagues, university lecturers, they discuss together, what could we do to make our teacher students more active? Okay, we have to change our way to teach. We plan more participatory, student-centered teaching methods, like group discussions, brainstorming, and so on, instead of lecturing. And after maybe 2 months, we will observe, is there any change in participation of our students? We collect the data somehow. Maybe we videotape the lecture or we make some field notes during the lecture, we discuss with students or whatever. And then we reflect why there is a change, why there is not a change. Maybe we have to make a new plan, a new action plan. Action research is very often used in education, like I told. It's classroom-based research where teachers are reflecting their own work and they are developing their own pedagogy and practices with colleagues, not alone maybe. Sometimes you can do action research alone with your pupils, for example, but many times with colleagues, it is done. So teachers and students, they can do research together. Even quite small children are able to do action research with teachers. Yes, and teachers can do research together with colleagues and develop their school. For example, collaboration between teachers, collaboration between teacher and parents, achievements of children, and so on. So what is good in action research? This kind of self-reflection, it supports teachers' continuous professional development. I have to reflect my own teaching. How am I doing? Are my students learning? Now I'm teaching in university level and I reflect my own teaching all the time. I ask feedback from my students and I have to improve my teaching somehow if I see that outcomes are not coming. And in action research, it's very special that it has impact on real practical problems, not only theoretical problems, but real practical situations. And it's activating when university lecturers and university students do research together. It means that they are equal researchers and both have to be active. Yes, and I told you that somehow you have to collect the data. It can be, many of you are PhD students, so you can collect data by doing field notes and diary. You can have group discussions and record them. You can have interviews, questionnaires, and so on. And you have to analyze your data somehow, and you can use any kind of analysis method you are using in traditional research as well. It can be content analysis, it can be narrative analysis, any kind of. Many times there are mixed method analysis. And then you present the outcome somehow. It can be a PhD thesis, like I did. I will share my own PhD, it's in English. I will share it to you later. It can be a scientific article in a journal. It can be a video poster, whatever you want to. And you as a researcher, if you go to do your action research in a school context, you have to think about these questions. Who is the one who collects the data? Or is everybody collecting the data? Are you the one who analyzes the data, or is analysis done together? Both is possible. And here you have to think about what is your position in regard to the data. How will your position affect your analysis? Action research, it's very subjective. You are part of the community and you can't be outsider. You are insider. I will share you more post-reading about this issue because it's very wide and very important. Yes, and you have to think about credibility, validity, generalization, reliability in many ways when you are doing scientific research. And you have to be very transparent in your thesis or scientific article. You have to tell detailed way what was my role in the research, what was the role of participants, how did we collaborate, did I lead the research, or was it very equal? That's the goal, but it doesn't happen always. And you have to document your research process very carefully. What did you do? How did you do? And who did the decisions? It has to be transparent. That's why keeping diary or field notes is very important. And also you have to reflect your own role in the community and also in decision making. Especially if you are doing research with marginalized group or vulnerable groups. Those who are not usually heard in your community. You have to think about these questions very carefully, and also ethical questions. You have to make sure that participating in the research is voluntary. They shouldn't be forced to participate. And how do you empower those who are not usually heard in your own context? If you come from university as an outsider, it might be difficult to be very equal and democratic, because sometimes you are considered as an expert and not member of the community. And how do you understand the culture of the community where you do the research? And how do you show that you respect the culture and you don't come to the community as an outsider who decides everything and tells the participants how things will be done? Because decision making in action research should be democratic. These are very difficult questions, but they have to be thought through and also described in your scientific research, if you are doing scientific one. Yes, okay. I will jump a little bit more. Okay, I will show you a photo of my own research before we go forward. I see that you have given me some questions and I will read them through and I will answer you later. I did my PhD in Ethiopia, East Africa, and it was long action research for 4 years. And I did it in rural village school. It was very big village school with 29 teachers and 1,500 students, so it was very large. And I went there and I asked, tell me about your challenges here. What are the biggest practical challenges you would like to improve by actions together? I didn't go there with knowledge about the challenge. I didn't know. I asked them to choose one practical challenge we would improve together. And they chose a challenge of teaching methods. In Ethiopia, teaching is in basic schools is very often teacher-led. It's lecturing. And students may be passive and not participating actively. So this was the challenge that the teachers chose. And we did many kind of activities, like we had workshops, and we had group discussions, we had trainings, we planned lessons together, and so on. And after 4 years work and five circles, I wrote my PhD thesis about this action research in Ethiopia. Yes. I will now stop sharing. And I want to introduce Dr. Fekkede from Ethiopia. And Dr. Fekkede will give you more examples how the action research has been conducted in Ethiopia and East Africa. Dr. Fekkede, the stage is yours. You have to open your microphone.
Wait. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming and being here. I'm from Ethiopia. Dr. Kati has presented the theoretical perspective of action research, and hopefully you have learned a lot from her explanation regarding the what, why, how of action research in different contexts. Oh, I have to share, I think, my hello, Kati.
Yes, Fekkere. No, yeah, that's
We can
good.
see your screen. Yes.
Can you see my
Yes, we can see your screen.
PowerPoint?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So as I've told him, I'm especially I served as a higher diploma program at my university, which is basically designed to revitalize the pedagogical competency of teachers at higher education institutions. So one of the mandatory practices or expectation from teachers who participate in this higher diploma program is they have to carry out action research project as a part of the completion of this action research project. To give you a context, the fundamental mission of any educational institution is to ensure learning for everyone, regardless of their background. So institutions must commit themselves to ensure learning for every student come to their classroom. So they have to continuously identify gaps, understand, and then do something in order to address the issue they have identified. The other issue that I wanted to raise is education is a complex and a dynamic field shaped by multiple factors from multiple directions, including technology, society or societal change, politics, economy, all have impacted education in many ways. So education needs to be responsive to the changing and challenging context of both the national and the global world. So in this case, action research is considered to be valuable tools to address those changing and challenging context of the world. To give you a brief context of the Ethiopian national context, at the moment there is high enrollment at every level of education. So following this, there is a low achievement of students, poor student learning outcomes there. School readiness is also very poor, and there is high learning poverty in the system. And the issue of declining quality of education is almost high on the agenda of the government, parents, or any stakeholders related to education. So action research is considered to be a powerful tool to address those issues, especially in Ethiopia. So we do action research to change the situation, to improve the situation. So cognizant of the fact that action research is a powerful tool to change the education system, the Ethiopian government, especially the Ministry of Education, has recognized action research, one as a part of teachers' professional development. That is, every teachers in the system are supposed to do action research as a part of their professional development every year. The other is action research is also considered to be a means to address the changes, the challenges, and any issue of the interest, and that ultimately enhance learning. So the key assumptions of participatory action research is epistemologically, knowledge is not objective, rather it is situated and practical. This is to mean that individuals have different perspectives, and the knowledge is socially constructed and continuously shaped by individuals, social, cultural, and political contexts. And ontologically, people are active agents, and they are not passive recipients of the knowledge generated somewhere. So in action research, people are, especially the participants, are co-researchers. Methodologically, action research is participatory, that is inclusive, as Dr. Kati has already presented, and action-oriented and cyclical. So it is not a research for the sake of research. Rather, it is a research in search of improvement. Especially, we do action research, for instance, to improve our teaching strategy, to improve our assessment techniques. We can do action research to enhance student achievement or to improve student achievement, their participation. And also we do action research to address equity problems that are prevalent in our system. So, especially when we, in our case, when we do action research, we just follow 7 steps. The first one is we identify the problem or any issue of our interest that we really want to address. So that need to be collaboratively identified. And the second is we formulate research questions, especially the major research questions that we are interested to address. And then the third step is to choose appropriate method of data collection, data analysis are the third steps that we follow. Then we engage in data collection, which is we collect data in a variety of methods, such as questionnaire, interview, observation, document analysis can be used to collect the data. And then we analyze and interpret the data that we have collected from different sources and come up with some sort of recommendation, which rather translated into action plan. In the sixth step, we take the action plan. So we take action in order to improve the situations that we have identified at the beginning. And finally, we have to evaluate the outcome, that is the result of our intervention. In action research, we collect data two ways. The first one is to understand the problem. And the second is to evaluate the effectiveness of our intervention. So having said this, I will share with you 2 action research projects which I myself is a part. The first example is improving female students' academic achievement in freshman programs. Actually, freshman program in our case is to mean first year students who directly come from high school. So the challenge here is there is a gender disparity. We analyze the 3 years data and it consistently indicated that there is a gender disparity, that is low achievement of female. Then the other challenge is low participation of female students in in the teaching learning process. So we have formulated a research question, which is how can we enhance the academic achievement of female students in freshman program through participatory action research? And a subsequent or specific sub questions are, what are the specific factors that contribute to gender disparity in academic achievement among female students is one question that we have formulated. Then what intervention can be implemented to improve the situation, and what is the impact of these interventions? Then we have used a mixed methodology or method approach that combines qualitative and quantitative data collection method. The data source in this case is female students are part of the research process, then academic program officers, quality enhancement director, undergraduate director, teachers, gender and inclusive education director, and a student service director are part of the research process. We collaboratively collect data from those sources. Especially with regard to quantitative data, one, we have collected data on female student academic performance from the registrar office, and then we have conducted survey to assess female students' perception about their experiences, especially the academic experience, including the level of engagement, motivation, and support service provided to them. In the qualitative data, we have collected data from focus group discussion and then interview. So after analyzing the data, we have identified the following major issues. One, new environment. Students are struggling to cope up with the new environment. The other is lack of adequate support for female students so that they can improve their achievement. The other issue that we have identified is lack of steady skills. Then product academic preparation is also another issue that's identified. And then the fifth one is self-efficacy. We have revealed this through our data analysis. Then on the basis of our finding, we have planned the following intervention strategy. Steady skill workshop, which is designed to teach female students effective steady skills, such as time management, test taking, and also note-taking techniques. The other is peer mentoring group. This program paired female students with their experienced peer so that they can be connected to them, supported by their peers in their learning. The other issue we have implemented is tutorial program. That is, we have implemented intensive tutoring system in collaboration with teachers who have engaged in freshman program. Then we have also tried to provide advisory services for female students so that they can continuously follow their progress, identify any problems that they have, and offer them a kind of advisory, or they can also connect it to anything they need. Finally, we have evaluated our intervention and found that it has impacted the female academic achievement positively. So it was reported that females who have participated in this action intervention reported increase in academic engagement, motivation, and self-efficacy. So we recommend the following issues. One, a strong support system needs to be there, especially with regard to continuously providing steady skill workshop, mentoring program, tutoring program, self-esteem workshop, so that they can believe in themselves and also boost their confidence. The other is create a more inclusive and supportive learning environment where every student flourish. The third is collect and analyze data on gender disparity, further data so that effective intervention strategy can be implemented. Then the other is institutional commitment need to be there, especially to support female students in their academic achievement. This is one of the actual research we have conducted and brought a positive outcome. Another example is enhancing student engagement in mathematics through collaborative learning strategy is another actual research project that I have also personally engaged. The challenge we have identified is there is student disengagement and also low achievement in maths subject. And another issue is misconception, especially students frustrated and think that mathematics is the most difficult subject, which is really difficult to learn. So we, in collaborative with the mathematics department, has planned to implement the collaborative learning strategy in order to improve the situation. So to this end, we have formulated the following research question, which is, does implementing collaborative learning strategy in maths class improve student engagement and their performance? Again, we have used mixed approach, which combine qualitative and quantitative data collection technique. For the quantitative data collection phase, we have a pre-test and also post-test to compare the pre-test and post-test, which is a standardized mathematical assessment was administered to measure the student pre-existing knowledge and skills, and their progress after implementing collaborative learning strategies measured and compared. Then the other data collection strategy is tracking student participation. Especially, we have used checklists in order to track student participation in the class, especially in mathematics class room. With regard to quantitative data collection, classroom observation was implemented to obtain further data with regard to mathematics classroom participation, how students interact, discuss things, and the behavior that they exhibited in the classroom. Then we have also interviewed students and teachers engaged in the same classroom. So we have implemented 3 collaborative learning strategies, which is one is paired problem solving, another is jigsaw activity, and another is cooperative learning group. With regard to paired problem solving strategy, students work in pairs to solve mathematical problems, which encourage peer interaction and support, because learning by self is a social process, and we need to create a social learning environment where students can interact, learn from one another, share their experience, and build their collective capacity. The second is jigsaw activity, where students are assigned to different parts of mathematical concept and then working in group to share their knowledge, which further promotes their understanding and collaboration. Cooperative learning group is another strategy that we have implemented. These students form a small group to work on mathematical tasks, which can also again foster teamwork and collective problem solving capacity. Here, students interact, discuss, support one another in order to improve their mathematical understanding and performance. So after we have implemented this strategy, we have again collected data to check whether our intervention has impacted students' learning, especially in mathematics, or not. And we have found that there is high level of engagement in collaborative activity compared to the traditional lecture-based instruction. Again, the qualitative finding also reveals the same thing, especially the observation and interview data clearly show that students are actively participated and felt more supported and engaged and perceived improved understanding of their mathematical concepts. So the finding of this research study, which we have conducted, indicates that collaborative learning strategy can effectively enhance student engagement and improve mathematical performance in the class room. So after we have concluded that this collaborative learning strategy enhance student mathematical learning and achievement, we have recommended the following 5 major issues. One, the provision of professional development opportunities for teachers to learn and implement collaborative learning strategy in their classroom effectively. The other is there should be a supportive classroom environment that encourage active participation and a collaboration among the students. Then the other issue that we have recommended is we need to implement varying collaborative learning strategy in order to cater the needs and interests of different learners. Because students learn different so and address the diversity that we have in the classroom. The other issues, we have to provide regular feedback and guidance to students to ensure that they are using collaborative strategy effectively in the classroom. Then continuous assessing and refined implementation of collaborative learning strategy to maximize their effectiveness is some of the recommendations we have made in our action research project. So in all those issues, there are challenges and also opportunities. The challenges that we have faced in our case, especially from Ethiopian perspective, is one, limited resources and the funding is, though this is not a resource intensive research, but it requires at least a minimum resource. So that is limited. The other is lack of skill and knowledge, especially with regard to action research. Sometimes there is also a misconception about action research and traditional research. In most cases, participants think that action research is a resource intensive and almost similar with the traditional one. This is another challenge. Lack of interest from the teacher side also another challenge that we have faced. The other issue, absence of incentive and reward for those who have committed and actively engaged in action research is another challenge. And then lack of inadequate support and follow-up from the concerned product is another challenge in our case. The opportunities, this is not only a challenge, but there are also opportunities. One is room for support is there. The government wants every teacher to do action research as a part of his professional or her professional development endeavor. So there is a policy support from the Ministry of Education side and also from the institution side. Cost-effective intervention, especially, is a local solution for our local problem, and it's not a resource-intensive practice. It's a cost-effective intervention, so this also can be considered as an opportunity. The other is a collaboration and a continuous improvement journey. It empowers educators and all stakeholders involved in the research process. The other important issue is focuses on local context. It really addresses the real problem in the class room. So this is what I have for this session. If you have any issues that need to be clarified, explained, or any issue of your concern, you can raise it. Otherwise, I have to stop here for the interest of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fekkede. I liked the part when you called the participants active agents. I think it's very important description that everybody who participates action research is an active agent. That's very nicely said. And I enjoyed the practical examples you shared. I think it's time for hands-on activity. Fekkede, if you close the sharing. I will share mine, and you will have a chance to discuss on the challenges you have in school context in your own country. So the practical challenges we could improve by doing action research. I will share you the instruction. Soon I will share you into the groups, small groups, and you have a chance to discuss together about what are the most common practical challenges in the school context of your own country. For example, what kind of difficulties teachers face or pupils and students. And now we have to emphasize the practical challenge. And challenges we can improve. If we are saying that, okay, salary of teachers is too low, can we improve the situation? No, we can't. So that's why we have to choose the challenges we can plan some kind of action, and we can improve it in somehow. I will show you the questions in the chat. You will see them now in chat part. And I will share you in small groups, and you will have 15 minutes time to discuss about these challenges. All challenges you have in your own contexts.
Pati, I can create the breakout rooms and
That's
the
very
participants
nice.
can join. Yes.
Okay, that's good. Yes, thank you, Deepti.
Yes, welcome.
So we will discuss about for 15 minutes, what are the most common practical challenges? I visited some groups and I heard you had a nice discussion about the challenges. Would you share some of the challenges you were discussing about to our chat? Maybe you could write some challenge to be seen by all of us to the chat discussion. I will send you back to the groups soon, and you can make a small action plan in order to improve the challenge, but you have to choose the challenge first. But about what kind of challenges did you talk about? Pekkede, could you tell me some challenges you were discussing about in your group?
Yes, some of the challenges we have raised in our group is, one is the issue of learning motivation. Especially students are not motivated to learn because of various reasons. It might be due to school culture or context. One is that. The other is high dropout rate of students, especially in the middle school, grade 7 and 8. And with regard to teachers' challenge, one of the participants raised that the relationship between teachers and the parents is a challenge. For instance, parents, instead of considering the student learning as a joint project between all stakeholders involved, they try to see themselves as a customer to be served, and this is it's a kind of it created a stress on the part of the teachers. The other is teacher or teaching profession is not a profession of choice because of various reasons. Teachers are not really motivated onto this. And for instance, if I add the Ethiopian case, low salary is one issue, and the teachers also do not enjoy the a good status from the society, and it is considered as a bridge occupation where someone has stayed till they find another job. So it's really difficult to attract the best and the brightest mind because of the salary issues, the status issues in Ethiopia. The other is teaching profession by itself is a demanding profession. It's a complex profession. So it's a tough job to be a teacher, especially in this 21st century.
Yes, there are many, many challenges. Thank you, Fekkede, and thank you for all of you who sent through the chat, you sent these challenges you were discussing about. Now we are going back to the groups for 15 minutes. And in a group, you should choose one practical challenge you can improve somehow by actions. So low status or low salary, it's very difficult to improve it. Or if you think about a curriculum, it's very difficult by teachers to change the curriculum. So now you have to choose quite practical one. I will write the instructions here. Choose one challenge in your group. No? Plan actions that could improve the situation. And I will give you the Padlet link. Can you open the Padlet page? So one in each group writes down the topic, the challenge, and action plan in Padlet. Are you able to open the Padlet page? at least one of the group could be able to open it and discuss for 15 minutes, and then we will be back here. Or Deepti, was it 20 or 15 minutes? Maybe 20.
All right.
Or maybe
we can have 15 minutes. We can see if we need more time.
yes, but during the discussion, you should write your challenge and your action plan in the Padlet. And then we will come back. Oh, and Deepti will share you to the same groups again.
Yes.
And yes, so you choose one practical challenge and you plan some actions, how to improve the discussion. And you will share these things to the Padlet page.
Great. So I'll open the breakout rooms now.
Thank you, Deepti. Yes, thank you for sharing your challenges and action plans. If you look at the Padlet page, you have chosen many kind of challenges, very different kind of challenges. Dumping and burning of waste, learning motivation, teacher motivation, bullying among students. And all of you, you are emphasizing discussing with participants. That's wonderful because it should be participatory and democratic. And you have imagined many kind of ways to improve the current situation. If we had time, my next question would be, how would you collect data? How would you observe if anything has happened? And if you are doing thesis or PhD, you have to collect some kind of data. I will show you once more this slide here. You have your cycle here. And now you did this planning part and acting part. And next stage would be observation and reflecting how we are doing. Do we have to make a new plan or are we happy with results? And if you are doing scientific research, you would do data collection, like field notes, group discussions, interviews, so on. Yes, and this is the spiral cycle of action research. It's very characteristic for action research. Dr. Fekkede, would you like to say something? Do you have any comment or closing words for all of us? Or feedback for your group?
Just to add a few points, actually this is the essence of participatory action research. They have all groups have identified the issue and issue of their interests to intervene, to improve, and they have also proposed action plan for that, because the very defined characteristic of action research is a collaborative action research. Every participant has to engage actively in the research process. Maybe since we have only a few minutes, if there are issues that need to be covered, I think it's better to move to that session.
Thank you, Fekkede. I shared some links for you to chat, and we will send rest of the links and videos later. Deepti will send you those. But Deepti, we are ready from our side. So if you would like to share the feedback form and...
Yes, I will just share my slide. Yes, thank you, Pekere and Pati, for today's session. And with this, we are close to closing today's seminar. And before sharing further about another upcoming seminar, I would like to request you all to scan this code and share your feedback with us by responding to the questions in the survey. It is anonymous and has been created to help us better prepare for the upcoming event. We can take 2 to 3 minutes to fill this survey. You could also click on this link here. So before closing, I'd like to share that we have an upcoming seminar on narrative research. It's scheduled to be in March. We still have to decide on the date and time. We will update the details on our website. So I request you all to tune into GINTL.org around mid-February to know more. And now I would really like to thank Kati and Dr. Kati and Dr. Fekkede for providing us this grounding into action research and this glimpse into the rigorous inquiry that the research method entails through practical examples. And I'd like to thank you all the participants for joining today. And we hope you had a meaningful learning experience here. And we look forward to seeing you all in our future events. And until then, I wish you all a good evening and a good week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for my side as well.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.